Hi, I'm Jan, and welcome to my channel, Prevailing Easterly. We call it our family journey because it kind of is. It's how I have been going through figuring out where I'd like to travel and homeschool and world school my kids, and figuring out the best places to do it, and also sharing how I came to choose the things that I did, how I was accused by my sister-in-law of starting a pandemic to get her to homeschool. Not that there's truth in it, but baby. Um, how to travel with kids comfortably and successfully, how to help them become world citizens, and doing slow travel, trusting yourself, trying the stuff you've never thought of, figuring out how to make it work financially, how to turn remote and give yourself a break and be okay not having days where you don't do anything and not doing something if you don't feel like it, um, picking which countries to visit, picking how you want to go, whether you want to stay somewhere for a little while or a long time, which countries are the most open to children, and also a category that is kind of left out, which is what I want to talk about today, how to travel with Black children and Black families, the differences in what we need, as opposed to in general, because there are little intricacies that everybody might not notice, like in a lot of the videos that I've been watching online with other influencers and YouTubers. So I've been getting on YouTube basically to do research, and I would like to move abroad with my daughter eventually. I'd like to slow travel, I'd like to fast travel, I'd like to stay, I'd like to have a passport in another country in addition to my US passport. So I'm not saying I'm going to give up my American citizenship, because I think there are great things here. There's great potential here. I just don't feel like I'm always treated fairly here, or that Black people in general, that it's okay that um, we're treated the way we are quite a bit. So I'd like my daughter to see more of the world so that she makes choices that are based on a worldwide perspective, not just what she's been told in our propaganda or our news media or whatever. I want her to make her own decisions. So it's about getting families to go and being okay with it, and accepting that you don't have to be a credit to your race. You're a credit to everybody. You're a credit, period. If you're a good person, you're a good person. Doesn't matter what color you are. And, that being said, there are places where that's easier to do than others. And there are places where if you're not rich, you can still have a great quality of health care. And there are places where you can educate your children and it's amazing, and you can do it your way, and you don't have to follow the rules set up by some establishment. So I was looking at some videos, and there were two that I wanted to talk about today. One was by Stephanie Perry, and it was called Worst Countries for Black Travelers, Black Women Travel Abroad. And another one was Scary Harry. Um, that's who put it up, and it's 10 best countries to move for raising a family. I'll put the links to both of those in the description. Also, be sure, if you're interested in any of these topics, please subscribe to my channel and press the notification button, because YouTube does not always tell you when a video is coming up if you're interested in a topic. But I'll be putting up more stuff, because this is a journey for us, and we've been going through a whole lot of stuff to get to where we are, and we still have a long way to go. And I'd love to help other people go along on their own journeys, and maybe go along and meet with us along the way. So Scary Harry's video was I had seen Stephanie's for a while ago, and then I came across Scary Harry's, and it was interesting because the countries there were the ones they picked for different reasons from what I would pick, and I realized it opened my eyes to the idea that people are looking for different things for their kids. So I'll give you their list. Their top 10 were Germany, Canada, Australia, Finland, Austria, New Zealand, Netherlands, Norway, Denmark, and Sweden. So they're all really nice countries, all beautiful. I've been to a few of them. I have others that I would add. In particular, I, I not feeling Australia as much as for a place for Black families because of their history, which we could talk about more at another time. But there's a book called The Rabbit Proof Fence, and there's also a movie to that name that kind of explains it. There was a system set up in Australia where, because it was a colonized country, um, they had a period of their history where it was similar to our history in America, where they were not exactly fabulous to their Aboriginal people. And it's pretty sad. They have lost generations of families that cannot contact each other. They don't know how, because babies were taken from their homes and put into institutional environments to be raised away from their families. So that, some of the aftermath of that still is the same. And so I felt subtle racism when I was there. And I thought, you know what? Beautiful country, really beautiful. But I don't think that that would be the best bet for me as a black person. So when I look at this list where someone else, this list was based on family values, welfare, education, um, family leave, um, availability of childcare, safety, whether or not English was spoken, the ability to pay for education, things like that. My list needs to, in one case, Denmark, 23 years of parental leave after you have a child, 23 weeks of parental leave for men and women. So things like that, I understand those are awesome. But for me, I also have to look at the cultural aspects, or dealing with ethnicity, because I'd like to know if a country, how they're dealing with whether or not they were colonizers, and what their treatment is of their former, the members of their former colonies, how they are welcomed into society, what efforts have been made for them to be ethnically diverse. I understand there are quite a few women who have traveled in Asia, for instance, and when they're there, they're in some of the countries that have not had that many people of color, black and brown people, um, they're almost like an oddity or a commodity where people want to take pictures with them all the time. And so that came out on Stephanie's channel, and in that video, and it struck me that I don't want to go anywhere where my daughter feels different for being a color. I rather have her be outstanding for being the best person she can be and a great human being. For me, I want my daughter to be safe. I want her to be happy. I want her to be fulfilled. I want her to be, I have a thing up here. My joys come from being happy, healthy, safe, calm, fulfilled, and relaxed. And I wish that for everyone. So when I'm doing my research, that's kind of what I'm looking for. Again, if you have questions, post them in the comments, and please let me know if there's something you want me to talk about. But I'm going to, over time, go post more videos on these topics, because I have so much that I could share and that I'd like to get feedback on from other people. But one country, I lived in Italy for a year, and one country was on the worst list, the worst places for black travelers, worst countries. And I understand that perspective. I do think that it kind of depends also on what part of Italy you're in. I think they mentioned that in Stephanie's video as well. I had a fabulous time there, but I was also significantly younger and traveling without kids, so that would make a difference too. Um, but I understand everything that was said, and I agree with the points of the guests that were on that video. For me, I just think that I want to make sure that we're able to meet people, afford travel, make our work translate to being able to sustain us. I don't want to be a colonizer, so I don't want to come in with what is my version of privilege because I'm American and make it harder for people who live in any other country. I would like to bring something to the table and to help perpetuate and sustain their happiness and survival also. So bringing my skills as something to enrich rather than to take advantage of. So ultimately finding joy and being able to teach my daughter how to live a life that's more fulfilling than maybe what my parents had, and all that. I think that moving to another country and traveling is a great gift, and I hope that you'll go along my journey as I explore that and share it with my daughter and anybody who'd like to listen. And again, please subscribe and press the notification button because YouTube does not always send you notifications that you want to hear. And let's get to know each other a little better. You take care. Thanks for watching.